The alien prisoners of war shuffled uneasily in the freezing dawn, their strange iridescent exoskeletons clinking against each other with every hesitant step. Their captors, the humans, had lined them up on the snowy expanse of the northern tundra, a place where the winds sliced through the air like razor blades. Every eye among the prisoners glimmered with fear. They had heard stories of human cruelty from intercepted transmissions, and their imaginations ran wild with the possibilities. The humans were silent. A handful of soldiers, clad in stark white winter uniforms, stood scattered among them, their faces impassive behind frosted visors. Only one human spoke, and when he did, his voice was calm, almost eerily gentle. "Open your coats." A ripple of panic coursed through the alien prisoners. They obeyed slowly, cautiously, almost as if they suspected a trap. Alien code dictated that revealing the contents of one's clothing without consent was a sign of ultimate vulnerability, an act punishable by death back home. Yet the humans stood there, silent, waiting. The first prisoner, a towering creature with 6 arms and a shimmering blue carapace, hesitated. Its mandibles clicked nervously. Another, smaller and covered in fur-like filaments, trembled, instinctively curling into a protective ball. Every one of them obeyed, but the fear in their eyes was palpable. The humans watched silently as the aliens peeled open their coats, expecting weapons, toxins, or some form of subterfuge. The aliens' hearts pounded with adrenaline, their minds racing through countless worst-case scenarios. And then, nothing. Instead of weapons, the humans began handing out blankets. Thick, warm, and surprisingly soft, they smelled faintly of pine and smoke. Reminders of the fires humans built to survive even the harshest winters. Confusion swept through the alien ranks. They blinked their multifaceted eyes, trying to make sense of what they were seeing. A creature whispered in a strange, hissing language, a sound humans only partially understood. "They aren't attacking." The human who had given the order, Captain Elias Ward, stepped forward. He was tall, solidly built, and had the kind of calm authority that drew respect without demanding it. "No," he said simply. "We're not going to hurt you. We're going to keep you alive." Another ripple of disbelief went through the prisoners. They had been trained for war, taught to expect the worst from humans. Torture, experiments, extinction. The stories were endless and horrifying. But warmth, kindness, that was foreign. One of the prisoners, a female from the planet Valoria, named Thari, finally found her voice. Her accent was sharp, brittle, like ice cracking underfoot. "Why?" she demanded, her claws trembling as she clutched the blanket. "Why would I do this?" Captain Ward knelt slightly to meet her gaze. His eyes were steady, unwavering. "Because we're not monsters. We're soldiers, yes, but we fight for something bigger than hatred. You're our enemies today, yes, but that doesn't mean you're not life. You deserve warmth. You deserve respect." The alien prisoners didn't know how to respond. Some had never been treated with basic human decency in their lives. Some had been trained to assume that any gesture of generosity was a trap. Yet the warmth of the blankets, the human patience, the calm presence of Captain Wardit broke through their armor of fear. For a moment, the wind howled and the world seemed silent but for the sound of alien breathing, mixed with the faint hiss of human winter gear. Then, slowly, the prisoners started adjusting the blankets, wrapping them around their torsos, letting their bodies relax just enough to feel safe. It wasn't just physical warmth that they were receiving. It was a message, stark and undeniable. Humanity could surprise them. Over the next few hours, the humans distributed rations, heated water, and medical supplies. A few aliens were suffering from frostbite, and humans worked quickly, methodically, to treat each wound. Thari watched a human medic apply a warming gel to a younger Valorian's claw, and she felt something stir within her, a strange, almost alien concept. Gratitude. Why are you doing this? She asked again, softer this time, her voice trembling. Captain Ward looked at her. Because that's who we are. You might be our enemy today, but one day we hope to be allies. And allies take care of each other. The prisoners exchanged glances. Their society had long been built on rigid hierarchy, fear, and mistrust. The idea that a species they had considered cruel or savage could act with kindness. It was revolutionary. Over the next day, the humans worked with the prisoners to set up a temporary shelter using tents, fires, and insulated panels. The aliens watched, fascinated, as humans performed these tasks efficiently, without argument or complaint, each movement precise yet unhurried. Thari's mind raced. She realized that these humans were not just strong, they were intelligent, adaptive, and united in a way that her own people struggled to match. Even in the freezing cold, even while surrounded by what should have been enemies, they maintained composure, organization, and a surprising level of compassion. By evening, something remarkable happened. The prisoners began to speak not just to each other in hushed tones, but to the humans. Questions about tactics, about survival, about the strange nuances of human culture. Captain Ward and his officers answered patiently, offering insights without condescension. Listening without judgment, Thari found herself laughing at a joke one human told, a dry, understated joke about frostbite, prevention, and realized with a shock that she hadn't laughed in years. Not since the war had touched her home world. Not since survival had consumed every thought. Night fell, and the northern lights danced across the sky in brilliant, impossible colors. The prisoners, once terrified, now huddled together under human-supplied blankets, staring up in awe. The humans sat nearby, tending the fires. Their silhouettes outlined against the shimmering sky. Thari approached Captain Ward once more. This isn't how wars are supposed to be, she said quietly. Maybe not, he replied, watching the auroras flicker. But maybe it's how they should be. For the first time, Thari understood the essence of humanity, not just in its capacity for war, but in its capacity for mercy, innovation, and unexpected kindness. And in that realization, a seed of hope was planted, fragile yet stubbornly persistent. The days that followed were tense, but filled with small revelations. The humans taught the prisoners how to survive in the tundra without specialized Valorian equipment. They shared knowledge of engineering, navigation, and even philosophy. Slowly, the aliens began to see humans not as enemies, but as beings of immense potential. And when the time came for transport back to their own world, Thari and the others hesitated. They had expected fear, distrust, and humiliation. Instead, they left with respect, perhaps even admiration, for a species they had once underestimated. Before stepping onto the human shuttle, Thari turned to Captain Ward. "I don't understand your species," she admitted, "but I think I want to." Ward smiled. "Good, that's a start." As the shuttle lifted off, Thari looked down at the snowy tundra, at the humans standing firm against the wind. and felt something entirely new, the faint stirrings of hope that even the deepest animosities could one day be replaced by understanding. And in that moment, the alien prisoners realized the truth of what they had experienced. It wasn't just blankets and warmth that humans had given them. It was something far more powerful, the recognition that even in the heart of war, humanity could be, in the most extraordinary way, heroic. The lesson was simple, yet profound. Strength without compassion is empty. But compassion, when paired with courage, can change worlds. And as the humans disappeared into the horizon, the aliens carried that lesson back to their home worlds, a lesson that would ripple through generations. For the humans, it was just another day. For the aliens, it was a revelation that would reshape everything they thought they knew about their fiercest opponents. And somewhere deep in the cold expanse of space, hope flickered, fragile, brilliant, and unstoppable. Asterisk.